The Vice-Chancellor, senior university officials, dear participants, it is an honor for the United Nations to partner with this university on this conference that focuses on the Sustainable Development Goals. Please accept my apologies for not being able to be with you in person for this vital gathering of academia in the run-up to September's Global SDG Summit in New York. Thank you also to my colleagues at UNIC for helping organize this event. For the UN, academia is an essential partner, including here in Nigeria, as we attempt to galvanize member states into rescuing the SDGs. You often provide unmatched insights and advice at a time when we are reassessing, reevaluating, and recommitting to the path ahead. An interdisciplinary institution like this university's Center for Sustainable Development can contribute to identifying cutting-edge solutions to the challenges faced by Nigeria and the wider continent. The theme of this week's summit is an apt one as we look back on our journey so far. Quote, Sustainable Development Goals, Challenges, Gains and Prospects, end quote. 8 years ago, heads of government from around the world agreed to the 2030 Agenda, a global roadmap for peace and prosperity. Those leaders made a promise to all people across every nation, a promise to secure their human rights, their well-being, and their planet. But that promise is now in peril. Progress is poor on more than 50% of SDG targets, while it has stalled or regressed on 30% of the targets. Our best efforts have been hindered by the combined impacts of COVID, climate change, and conflict, which some are calling a polycrisis. The world is struggling to address the fundamental issues of poverty and hunger, while greenhouse emissions are at an all-time high in 2023. The African continent has struggled under the weight of soaring commodity prices, runaway inflation, and recent military coups. In Nigeria, 133 million people face multidimensional poverty, and more than 20 million are unemployed. Without urgent action, the 2030 Agenda will become no more than a broken promise to the world's most vulnerable people. Now, despite these many challenges, Africa remains a continent of hope, and Nigeria a country of hope. The long-term structural endowments of Africa are strong as ever. This continent is home to many of the world's natural resources. With 60% of the world's arable land and a massive population of motivated youth, Africa is the best investment proposition of the 21st century. We are witnessing innovation everywhere, from young entrepreneurs to African corporations to public-private partnerships, championing renewable energy, smart agriculture, digital solutions, and medical advances. Now we need accelerated efforts towards the SDGs from all involved actors, including government, the private sector, CSOs, and academia. To get the 2030 Agenda back on track, universities can be catalytic in three important ways. Firstly, this country has the largest youth population in Africa. 60% of Nigerians are under 25 and the median age is just 18. This huge generation of young people can drive transformational change in Nigeria and across Africa if universities ingrain sustainable development in their education and equip them with relevant expertise and skills, for example, the green skills required for the imminent wave of green jobs. Secondly, university-based research is essential if we are to course correct. Now is the time for self-reflection and close study of existing methods and processes. Many have not sufficiently worked for us. We look to centers of learning such as yours for new pathways to achieve the SDGs and new interdisciplinary approaches to old problems. What are, for instance, cutting-edge technologies that can revolutionize Nigeria's food systems? How can Lagos's transportation system be rapidly decarbonized? Thirdly, universities can guide public policy onto a new sustainable path. Governments will come to universities for their specialized talents and tools of analysis. As a trusted advisor, academia will have the opportunity to shape the design of solutions and policy that can have genuine social impact in Nigeria. The outcomes from this conference will undoubtedly support collective rescue efforts and lay the groundwork for Nigeria's preparation and successful participation in next month's Global SDG Summit in New York. The United Nations in Nigeria hopes that it will be possible for the Nigerian government to announce further initiatives in New York aimed at creating a social impact-friendly environment. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all live up to the promise of the 2030 Agenda and ensure that we leave no one behind. I wish you all fruitful discussions over these coming days. Thank you very much.